Men have a tough time realizing that offering a listening ear is all a woman needs at times, or a comforting hug, a loving statement like, "You are hurting, aren't you?" or "You are under a lot of pressure, aren't you?" Listening to your wife talk without offering quick solution is the only way to meet her needs to be known. Even I didn't know that. She needs to be respected. Men are usually quite unaware of how much women needs to be respected. Why? Because when men are not respected, they react very differently. A man who doesn't feel respected, for example, is apt to become self-righteous and indignant. He feels even more worthy of respect when others don't respect him. He may even give less until he gets what he feels he deserves. Women operate differently. When they are not respected, they feel insecure and lose their sense of self. That is so true. That is why it is so vital for you to take special care of your partner's need for respect. There is a quote here by Dave Barry, and it says, "What women want: to be loved, to be listened to be desired, to be respected, to be needed, to be trusted, and sometimes just to be held." What men want: tickets for the World Series. That's all. There are a number of ways to show respect to your wife. To begin with, do not try to change or manipulate her, but rather honor her needs, wishes, values, and rights. I know a woman who, because of her upbringing, valued the tradition of having her door opened for her by her husband. She knew the custom was kind of old-fashioned, but it meant a lot to her, and she asked her husband to do it. Her husband never took her request seriously. "You are kidding, right?" he said. "You are kidding, right?" he said. Nobody does that anymore. That is why we've got power locks on the car. By laughing off his wife's request, this husband weakened his opportunity to meet his wife's deepest need to be respected. Respecting your wife also means including her in your decisions. I am always amazed when I find a husband who wields all the power in a marriage and makes all the decisions, regardless of what his wife thinks. I have known men who will make decisions about relocating to a new job in another part of the country without even consulting their wives. I don't know a quicker way to tear down a woman's sense of self and ruin the possibility of a happy marriage. Build your wife's self-esteem and sense of security by asking for her input whenever you can. Even on the small things. When you make a decision that might affect her, say, "I am thinking about, what do you think of that?" Or, "I am thinking we should, what would you like?" Respecting your wife means supporting her in fulfilling her dreams and aspirations. I have a friend, Rich Jones, who is a businessman in Chicago. Some years ago, his wife, Laura, set her sights on a career as a news reporter. After studying at Northwestern University, Laura landed her first reporting job at a small newspaper in a suburb where they lived. A couple of years later, Laura was offered an assignment as a television reporter in another state. At that point, Rich knew he was at a crossroads. He had promised to respect Laura's dreams, but he never imagined it would mean moving. Well, Rich could have complained about Laura's aspirations. After all, he had a professional life too. But Rich stuck by his word and continued to respect his wife's dreams, and she did the same for him. Today, they are happily married back in Chicago, where Laura anchors for one of the networks. Respect says, "I support you, you are valuable to me, and you don't have to be any different from who you are." In return for this respect, a woman will be able to relax. She will not have a compulsive need to prove herself as an equal, but will automatically feel and be equal. What a wonderful day to live with a woman. There will be no power struggle, to be honest. What every wife should know about her husband is subheading. No one plays as significant a role in meeting a man's unique needs as his wife. Researchers have identified his needs, but only his wife can truly satisfy them. Some of your husband's most basic needs in marriage are to be admired, to have autonomy, and to enjoy shared activities. Subheading: he needs to be admired. Oh, Scott, this looks great. You did a wonderful job. Carrie's eyes lit up with excitement as she surveyed the planter boxes her husband had just made for her deck. You really have talent. I enjoyed making them, Scott said, but it is not that big a deal. You underestimate yourself, honey. You are good. Scott didn't show it, but he was relishing his wife's praise. It felt great. No one could make him feel as admired and appreciated as Carrie. And Carrie knew it. She had tapped into this primarily male need. This primarily male need and gladly filled it every opportunity she could. Carrie's admiration was genuine, never insecure or overdone. She was Scott's biggest fan, and their marriage benefited in untold ways from her vocal admirations. Being appreciated is a man's primary need. He measures his worth through his achievements, big and small, and needs them to be recognized. A woman's need for admiration and appreciation, while certainly important, is rarely as strong. When a woman seeks appreciation, she is more accurately wanting to be understood, to be validated. You see, there is a significant difference between a woman and a man when it comes to being admired. Men derive their worth more from what they do, while women derive their worth more from who they are. Look at it this way. When women do not receive admiration from their spouse, they tend to be more motivated than ever to earn it. But when a man does not receive admiration from his spouse, he begins to lose motivation to try. Without a feeling of being admired, a man's energy is drained. He soon feels inadequate and incapable of giving support. Without being admired, men lose their will to give. You have no idea how damaging a critical statement is to your man's personal power. He responds to not being admired the same way you do when he invalidates your feelings. It is demoralizing. I counseled a woman who became confused when, after criticizing her husband, he did not try harder to earn appreciation from her. She mistakenly assumed that she could manipulate him to give more by withdrawing her appreciation, but that never works with a man. Admiration is the fuel a man needs to get going. It gives him power. Now, before you begin heaping words of praise on your spouse, I need to give you a word of caution. Never fake your admiration. By simply saying flattering words to your husband, you do more harm than good. To have any value, praise must genuinely reflect your feelings. Do not fake it.